In this video, you will get lessons from this #1 bestseller book. I'm offering this lesson to you for free as part of my company's mission to help you reach your music dreams and have fun along the way. You will find the playlist with all videos from this course in the video description and comments. There may be information in previous videos that will make the video you are watching now easier to understand. I recommend watching the videos in order. Hi, I'm Dan Spencer, author of the Best Music Theory book for beginners. Over 5,000 people have purchased this book, pushing it to hit #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. Finally, if you would like to get this #1 book, the workbook, for free, along with quizzes, interactive flashcards, and more bonuses, links are in the video description and in the comments. And now, here is the next lesson and the Best Music Theory course, Level 1. Welcome to Module 2 and Chapter 2, Rhythm 2, Strong and Weak Beats #1. So talking about strong and weak beats, in every measure of most time signatures, there are going to be stronger and weaker beats. Now this is part of what gives music life. If all beats were equally strong and equally weak, what would we have? We would have a pulse, not beats. So we actually want some beats to be strong and some beats to be weak. Now, alternating strong and weak beats gives music momentum and movement. It gives it feeling. It gives it dynamics. It makes it exciting. Because would you really want to listen to just a pulse all day that's just bop, 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 bop? Is that exciting? No, it's not. We want beats. We want things to change. We want things that are different. So now let's understand, why are some beats strong and some beats weak? Well, stronger and weaker beats change how notes that align with those beats are stressed when they are performed. Now, when I say stressed, I mean how much emphasis is put on them. So this means that together as a European Western music culture, we've all agreed that certain beats get more emphasis than others with certain time signatures. Every time signature has its own series of stronger and weaker beats. Now, other music cultures like that of India and Bali have different music rules and different cultures with different strong and weak beats. So for example, in 4/4, in our music culture, we say strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Whereas in Indian classical music, there is a sort of time signature called teen tal that acts like 4/4, but does not at all follow strongest, weak, strong, weakest. It's a completely different thing and not at all the same. So that's why I'm saying that in our music culture, or in the music culture that is descendant from Europe, I'm also descendant from Europe. Both my grandparents came to the United States from Europe, so I think of myself as being Europe descendant. That from that music culture, every time you see 4/4, the series of beats is going to be strongest, weak, strong, weakest, but we'll get to that in a moment. So we have some useful color coding for y'all. So strongest beats are going to be green, strong beats are going to be yellow, weak beats are going to be orange, and weakest beats are going to be red. Now, if you happen to be colorblind, what you want to look out for is the ST for strongest. So the difference between strongest and strong is the ST, and the difference between weak and weakest is the ST. And again, that's only for those of you who happen to be colorblind. So let's look indeed at the strong and weak beat colors for 4/4, and indeed you can see we have strongest, weak, strong, weakest, and that is the order of the beats in 4/4. Now in 3/4, it's a little different. There is no strong beat, there's only a strongest, and then there's a weak and a weakest beat. That's just how 3/4 works. So all songs, for the most part, that you hear in 4/4 and 3/4 follow this series of strong and weak beats. Memorize the order of the strong and weak beats in 4/4 and 3/4. For 4/4, it's strongest, weak, strong, weakest. And 3/4, it's strongest, weak, weakest. Memorize that, because that is going to be super important, not just for this music theory, but for a bunch of music theory moving forward and other modules and chapters in this course and in this book. I will see you in the next lesson. In this lesson, you are going to understand the power of low sounds and how low sounds actually play into the series of strongest, strong, weak, and weakest beats in different time signatures. So the natural human tendency is actually to perceive lower sounds as being more important and more powerful than higher sounds. So a low sound would be like thunder rolling in the distance is a great example of a really low sound. A higher sound would be like a bird chirping. Now, in many modern music genres, the strongest beats in the measure will actually have lower sounding instruments on them, and the weaker beats are going to have higher sounding instruments on them. And we're going to explore this with the drum kit, and we're actually going to see that the patterns that drummers play in these different time signatures actually line up with lower sounds happening on the stronger beats and higher sounds happening on the weaker beats. So let's take a look at some strong and weak beats with the drums. Since there is a drum set sound or digital drums or drum samples in most songs in modern genres, we're going to use the drum set because you're going to be able to figure out a lot of songs and understand the time signature through the drums because the drums are everywhere. So we're going to see how the drums actually play different parts or different elements of the instrument and help define strong and weak beats. So you will see that in the notation for the kick drum, it actually is going to show a stem down below line 3. This is an exception to the rule that all notes need to be stem up when they are below line 3 of the staff. So let's look at our two main parts of the drum that we're going to talk about today. The first is the snare. The snare is this metal drum right here. You see that right there with the number 1 on it? And the second drum is a kick drum. And it's that big old thing there on the floor. So now we're going to listen to the difference between a snare and a kick. This is the drum number 1 that you see on your screen right there. And you can see that the notation for the snare drum actually has the note head on space 3 of the staff. Now we're going to listen to an example of a kick drum. And as you can see, the kick drum, the note head is going to be in space 1 of the staff, but the stem is actually going to be pointing down. This is one of these very rare exceptions where you'll have a stem down note below line 3 of the staff. So this is what the kick drum sounds like. There you go. Let's hear that again. Excellent. Now let's look at example 15, where we're going to have the kick on the strongest and strong beats and the snare on the weak and weakest beats. So it's going to go kick, snare, because in 4/4, the order of the strong and weak beats is strongest, weak, strong, weakest. So this is example 15. With the low sounds on the strong and strongest beats and the higher sounds, the snare, on the weak and weakest beats. Let's give it a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I also do recommend watching these book examples. Okay, now let's look at example 16. This is going to be a snare and a kick in 3/4. Now the pattern is going to change here because there's only one type of strong beat in 3/4, and that's the strongest beat on beat 1. There's a weak and weakest on beat 2 and 3. So that means we're actually going to have 2 snares to every 1 kick. Let's give that a listen and see what that sounds like. Strongest, weak, weakest. 1, 2, 3. Listen to it one more time. I'm going to count this time through it. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I will see you in the next lesson. In this lesson, we're going to do a deep dive into the series of strong and weak beats in the time signature of 4/4. So sure enough, we have strongest, weak, strong, weakest. That's the order that the strong and weak beats are going to happen, and with the strongest beat happening on beat 1, weak happening on beat 2, strong happening on beat 3, and weakest happening on beat 4. We also have the kick is going to be playing on beats 1 and 3, the snare on 2 and 4. So here's a cool party trick that you can do once you understand this little bit of music theory is you can listen to recordings and actually tell whether the song is in 4/4 or in 3/4 by listening to the drums. So you're going to listen to the recordings listed below. There's an entire video below this one where you can check out me actually talking and walking you through each one of these examples all in a row to make sure that you really understand and get that series of strongest, weak, strong, weakest, the 1, 2, 3, 4. So sometimes the pattern does change a little bit, but in general, listen for the snare on the weak beats and the weakest beats. And the kick pattern sometimes does change, but in general, listen for the kick on the strongest and strong beats. And to confirm the time signature, you'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 along with the music and try to align that count with the pulse that you feel, where you feel like you should bop your head up and down. So we're going to listen to a bunch of songs in order as they are on your strong and weak beats 4/4 page. I'm going to be breaking down songs as we go, showing you how, in fact, all of these songs, you can tell they're in 4/4 just by listening to the drums, because the drums are so obviously giving you the strongest, weak, strong, weakest order that's in 4/4. So let's start with Dream On by Aerosmith. I'm going to start at about 1 minute here. So the no drums yet. Can you hear the 4/4 here? You can't, it's okay because it's about to drop. See that? Snare, 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 snare. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Let's fast forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can hear that kick happening on 1 and 3. Again, the pattern's a little different than just a simple 1 and 3. Kick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Weak. Strong. Weak. Strong. Weak. Strongest. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest. Let's check out the next song. This is Roll Over Beethoven. So the drums are a lot more quiet than they were in the last recording, but you can still hear the kick and the snare if you listen carefully. Kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick.
Well, I'm gonna write a little letter, I'm gonna mail it to my local DJ.
Kick, snare.
Yeah, this is
Do you hear that snare?
record I want my jockey to play.
You can hear the kick.
Roll over Beethoven, I gotta hear it again today.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Count with me.
You know my
1, 2,
temperature
3, 4.
rising,
1,
the
2,
jukebox
3,
blowing a
4. 1, 2,
fuse.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
My
1,
heart
2,
beating
3,
rhythm
4.
and my soul
1, 2,
keep
3,
singing the
4.
blues.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Roll
Strongest,
over
weak, strong,
Beethoven,
weakest,
tell
strongest, weak, strong,
Tchaikovsky to
weakest,
do.
strong, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong,
I got the
weakest.
rockin' pneumonia, I need a shot.
Let's listen to the next one. Ow! Yes. All right. Kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh, break it down now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick, snare, kick, snare. So you can hear the kick pattern's different, but the snare, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snare's still hitting on 2 and 4. 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. Come on. 3, 4, 1, 2. Count with me. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, super cool. Listen to the next one. Living on a Prayer. So at the beginning here, we can't actually hear the tempo. The speed is not immediately clear until right there. So it's not immediately clear where there it is. Now these 80s rock drums, man, you can hear the kick and the snare. It's so clear. Kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong, weakest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You hear every time the 1 comes around, it feels like a new beginning of a new measure. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. Yeah, that change there on 1. Change on 1. Change on 1. Right there. 4. 1, 2. Oh, let this one go through the chorus. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Excellent. Now this next one. A little bit of a change. So the drums are kind of quiet here, but you can still hear the snare. 2, 4, 2, 4. Snare, 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 snare.
There goes my baby.
Still same thing. Snare, snare. Count with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest, weak, strong, weak. Strongest, weak, strong, weak. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's listen to the next one. But you can see already how many of these songs have this similarity of the snare on 2 and 4 through all these different decades. We just listened to music from like the 2000s to like the 60s and the 50s even. And how across that entire length of time, snares on 2 and 4, kicks on 1 and 3 are a consistent thing for the time signature of 4/4. Let's keep it going with some Fleetwood Mac. So here we can hear a kick on every beat. Kick, kick, kick. This is setting the song up. This is letting us know it's literally giving us a pulse. We're going to build a little more. So you can still hear, even though we clearly have this feeling of these 4 counts going back and forth, that there's just a kick happening here. There's no snare yet. But here, if I count it, you'll still hear it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Snare. So you can hear in this drum beat, some interesting things are happening. Mick Fleetwood, who's the drummer for Fleetwood Mac, is just an incredible drummer, but you can see he's actually changing things a little bit here. So even though there isn't a clear kick, snare, feeling, you can still hear that difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this song. Let's listen to that chorus one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Let's listen to the next one, which is going to be Chaka Khan. Now, one of the reasons why I love showing this songs to people like yourself who are learning about strong and weak beats for the first time is the way this song starts off is not at all obvious where the strongest, strong, weak, and weakest beats are. Let's just listen and enjoy for a moment, and then we're going to be very surprised by where the drums come in. Ah! Now you can hear that snare. 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice every time you're saying the word 2 and 4, you're hearing that snare sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep counting with me. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, hear how on beat 4, it's almost like this. It's like this breath in, this surprise on beat 4. That's the weakest. That's driving us back to 1. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Go! 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chaka Khan is queen. Okay, this next one is called My Sharona by The Knack. I'll turn this one up just a little bit. So you can even though the drum pattern is a little fancy. Snare, snare on 2 and 4. Listen to the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My, whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's listen to the next one. We're going to do a little bit of change of pace here. This is Seasons of Love from the Broadway smash hit Rent. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those piano chords are hitting on 1 and 3 because there's no drums playing right now. We can still hear the cycles of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now we get that little click. Instead of a snare hit, we're hearing a click on 4. 2, 4, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2. Come on. How about 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You can hear that kick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 2.
Seasons of
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. This next one is I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. Now at the beginning, there's no drums, but we can still hear a 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen to the pattern of the guitars and the ukuleles and things that are playing here.
chill, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks.
So you see that cycle of 1, 2, 3,
Now
4
I'm
is still
trying to
happening
get
here.
back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my best. This and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some. But
Strongest,
I
weak,
won't
strong,
hesitate no more, no
four, strongest,
more.
weak,
It
strong, weakest,
cannot wait.
strongest, weak,
I'm
strong, weakest.
yours.
Now we're about to get drums in at the next part. So here are those confirm our 1, 2, 3, 4 count. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count. 1. Here come the drums. 3, 4. 1, 2,
Open up your mind and see
4.
like me.
1, 2,
Open up your
3,
plans and damn
4.
you're free.
1,
I
2,
look into your
3,
heart and
4.
you'll
You can hear
find
on 2 and 4. It's that snare.
love and love. Listen.
And we have a couple more. Let's listen to Purple Rain by Prince. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
I never meant to call you when you
1, 2. And you hear that snare. 4. That good old 80s snare. 2, 3,
never meant to call
4.
you when you pain.
Happening on 2 and 4 on those weak and weakest beats. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong, weakest, strongest, weak, strong, weakest. In the purple rain.
Purple rain, purple rain.
1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest, weak, strong, weakest. You think you're starting to get it now? All right, 2 more. This next one is called Losing My Religion by R.E.M. Now, the kick drum isn't particularly strong here, but the snare is very loud on 2 and 4. 2, 4.
Oh, life
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
bigger
4.
than you, and you are
Four.
not me.
2, 4.
Links
2,
that I
3, 4.
will go
Strong,
to.
weak, strong, weak, strongest, 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 weak, strong, weak.
That's me in the corner.
All right, let's check out our final song. This is called Helpless by Neil Young. Three. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear that snare on 2 and 4. You hear that kick on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest. Strongest. Weak. Strong. Weakest.
Blue windows
Cool.
behind the stars.
So I think you get the idea about these strongest, weak, strong, weakest beats. In 4, 4. I'll see you in the 3/4 lesson. See you there. In this lesson, we're going to do a deep dive into the time signature of 3/4 in the series of strong and weak beats there. So whenever we see 3/4, the order of the strong and weak beats is always going to be strongest, weak, weakest. We're always going to have some sort of emphasis, some sort of low sound on beat 1 and then higher sounds generally on beat 2 and 3. Now, to do the fun party trick to actually figure out the time signature of 3/4 just by listening to a piece of music, you're going to listen to the recordings listed on page 31 of the Best Music Theory book for beginners and try to focus just on the kick and snare only. Now, sometimes the snare pattern is going to change, but in general, the snare is going to play on the weak and the weakest beats. And sometimes the kick pattern is also going to change, but in general, the kick is going to be on the strongest beat only. Now, to confirm the time signature, you can count 1, 2, 3 along with the recording and see if that lines up with the pulse that you can feel. Now, some of these examples do not have drums or don't have drums in part of the song. What to do? Well, you're actually going to listen to the song and hear where there's low attacks, there's low sounds on the beat 1, and then there's higher sounds on beats 2 and 3. There is another video right below this one that you can go check out, me talking and walking you through all of these examples to make sure you can understand and you can hear that 1, 2, 3 pattern. Now, one little final piece of trivia for you. You remember back on page 13 when we talked about the differences between those different tempi, the different tempos, that we had the difference between Jumpstart by Greg Howe and Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar, and maybe the difference between which one was fast and not fast wasn't very clear? Well, go back and listen to the drums and hear how fast the pattern for 4/4 happens in Love is a Battlefield. It's going kick, snare, kick, snare, kick. That's how fast it's going. Each kick and a snare is one beat in the measure, whereas for Greg Howe, it's going kick, snare, or kick, snare. Yeah, it's going a lot slower than Love is a Battlefield, and you can tell that it's going slower because of the drum pattern. I will see you in the next lesson. In this video, we're going to go through a bunch of songs in 3/4, and I'm going to point out the series of strongest, weak, and weakest beats along the way. Now, one of the really cool things about these songs, we're actually going to listen to some that don't have drums in them, but we can still hear that strongest, weakest pattern happening in the song. So we're going to start off with Sing It Again by Beck. So already right there, you can hear the drums. Cha, 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 cha. You can hear the kick, strongest, weakest, strongest, weakest. Now, you can also hear that bass. Boom, boom.
A town of disrespect. The trains are wrecked.
Strongest, weak,
The night is younger than us. Nowhere is anywhere else. You keep to yourself, stirring the dregs where I have laid.
Okay. Now, let's listen to the next one. It's called Hickory Wind by the Byrds. 1, 2, 3.
In South Carolina, there are many tall pines. I remember the oak tree that we used to
Strongest,
climb.
weakest, strongest, weakest. I love that.
But
Strongest,
now when I'm
strongest,
lonesome, I always pretend.
I know it's getting good, but we're going to go to the next one. The next one is called Sunday's Best by Elvis Costello. So this is a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hear that? Boom, 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 boom. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear kick, snare, snare, 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 kick, snare, snare.
Foreign money, skin sharp, red leather hotline. Be prepared for the engaged sign, bridal books, engagement rings, and other wicked little things.
Okay, this next one's a little less weird. This is called Whatever Will Be, Que Sera Sera, and sung by Doris Day.
When I was just a little girl,
So the drums are very quiet
I
here,
asked my mother, what will I be?
but you can still hear.
Will I be pretty?
Got strong,
Will I
weak,
be
weak is strong,
rich?
weak is strong,
Here's what she said to
weak is strong,
me.
weak.
Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be.
So you can feel how
The future's not
the way
ours to
4/4
see.
feels
Que
and the way
sera,
3/4
sera.
feels is so different. 4/4 is like
What will be, will be.
but 3/4 has this feeling of like
When I grew up
it's like a roly
and
poly.
fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said.
Weak is.
Que sera, sera.
All right, thanks, Doris. This next one is The Times That Are Changing by Bob Dylan.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam.
So this is an interesting example because there are no drums here. So listen to how he's playing the guitar, because he's going to hit some low strings. There's going to be a low sound. Then he's hit some high strings. There's going to be a high sound. It's going to go low, high, high, low, high, high. And remember that power of low sounds. We're putting the lowest sounds on the strongest beats. So let's listen to this again.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam. And
High, high,
admit
low,
that
high,
the
high, low,
waters
high, high,
around
low,
you
high,
have
high,
grown,
low, high,
and
high,
accept
strongest
it
beat,
that
weakest,
soon
strongest
you'll
beat,
be
weakest, strongest
drenched
beat,
to the
weakest.
bone.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. Or the times they are a-changing.
One, two, three. All right, let's listen to the next one. This next one's called Manic Depression by Jimi Hendrix. So here too, you can hear that the guitar, om shagu daga, om shagu daga, om shagu daga, om shagu da, the om, that's on the 1, and the shagu dago, that's on the 2 and 3. 1, dum 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 dum, strong, weak, weakest, strong, weak, weakest, strong, weak, weakest. And yes, it doesn't work unless I do these hands. Okay. One, two, three, one, two, three, one. 1, 2, 3, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. Okay. This next one is a classic from 1952. Patti Page. How much is that doggy in the window?
How much is that doggy in the window?
High, low, high, high,
The
low,
one
high,
with the
high,
waggly
high,
tail.
high.
How
Strongest,
much is
weak,
that
weakest, strongest,
doggy
weak,
in the
weakest, strongest,
window?
weak, weakest. 1, 2, 3,
I
1,
do
2.
hope that doggy is for sale.
Okay. This next one is called No Other One by Weezer. So I think what's interesting here too is that the snare patterns change. So we hear kick on 1 and 2 and snare on 3, but we're still putting snare on the weakest. The beats still are strongest, weak, weakest. However, you can hear that the emphasis is put even more on that weakest beat that pushes us back to the strong one every time it comes back around. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Oh, but it's not over yet. Click here to watch the next video lesson or up here for the full video playlist.